introduce our speaker, Jim Roman. Jim is the founder and owner of Business Owners Institute, and that's a company that provides high-quality training and education for small business owners and their teams. I know Jim well. He's been a member of our membership committee. He's been an ambassador for a number of years. He helps us out all the time. He's a great member, and he has some great insights on how to get the most out of your chamber membership that may be different from what other people will tell you, or maybe different from what might be obvious.
My goal here today is to help you maximize your membership. For those of you who know a little bit about me, I've been in Richmond for about 13 years. I moved here from Virginia Beach, originally from Pennsylvania. And the first thing I did when I moved here is I got involved in a chamber because I knew no one. I literally knew the people who hired me, and that was it. And I was actually brand new to networking. Most people don't know that. I don't say that very often. And I learned a lot getting involved in the chamber. I learned a lot about networking. Today I have gotten wonderful rewards from chambers. And so my goal today is to help you to maximize your membership, maybe give you a couple of pointers. So you might want to need to pull out a pen and a piece of paper, because you might want to take this and apply this tonight for our... The number one reason why people join is to get business. How many people like to get business while they're involved in the chamber? Raise your hands. The second reason why people get involved in the chamber is a sense of community. They want to belong somewhere. They want to be able to give back. And so you want to look at your membership, which is a year-long, not a day-long or a month-long, it's a year-long, about how can you give to get business and how can you get involved in the community. In fact, when I first moved here, I heard a story about someone who joined the chamber, did a direct mail piece, got nothing out of it, and then quit shortly after that. So you have to work your networks to get anything out of it. And so one of the best ways of doing that is to get it involved. As you heard Nina, I've known Nina for several years, she joined and didn't do anything with it and got little to nothing out of it. Then she got involved. She got to rub elbows with other business professionals so they can see her in a different light than at a networking event, because you act one way there as you would on a committee. And as they get to know you, they want a numbers game. When they go to a chamber event, they think it's the number of people you can meet. And it's not a numbers game. That is actually a myth when it comes to networking. It's a relationship game. Does that make sense?
Yes. Yes.
Count of three. 1, 2, 3. Not a text. I'll say that again. It's obvious, but you want to be a giver, not a taker. How many people here have bills coming due? Raise your hands. You know, a lot of times that gets in the way of, I got to make that sale because I got to hit my quota, or I got to pay that bill. And yes, we all have to do that, but you want to be a giver, not a taker. And I was in shock because he's right. I usually get asked 3 times a year to sit down to see who can help me. I get quite a bit who want to sell me. And Joe sat down with me and took the whole time talking about how he can help me. And I felt kind of guilty because I wanted to help him. And so the last 3 minutes I said, Joe, what are your goals? What do you do if I was you after a chamber event? I would take your business cards, find one person you want to build an alliance with, and ask the following questions. Before I do that, I'm going to pair you up. I'm going to use my Pennsylvania powers to pair the two of you, 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 the two of you. Now, I apologize. You sat next to Fred. So question number 1 is, how did you get into the current profession that you're in? And question number 2 is, what do you enjoy most about what you do other than dealing with people? You have 1 minute to do this exercise. There's a design to that 1 minute, and 1 minute begins now.
Okay, that's great, then I don't have to worry about bringing that.
When it comes to networking, so often we stay on the surface. And if we go deeper, we will find the riches in the relationships. So that's all that was, a surface. So I want to go a little bit deeper with the person I paired you up with. What I want you to now do in 1 minute is to come up with 10 things that you have in common other than you both look good today. So let me ask you a second time. Through a show of hands, how many people feel closer or more connected to the person I paired you up with? Excellent. Okay? But we're still not there. We're close, but it's not rich enough for the relationship. So what I'd like you to do now is to ask the last 3 questions. And I think truly these are magical questions. They could make the biggest difference in the person you're talking to, because so often we just want to be heard. And so I'm going to give you a little bit more time with this, 2 minutes, to do these 3 questions. Question number 1 is, what is your biggest challenge? Now leave it vague. I didn't say personal business. It's wherever the relationship goes. So what is your biggest challenge? Question number 2, no really, what is your biggest challenge? And then question number 3 is, no really, other than time and money, what is your biggest Kansas City or Cincinnati? Why in less than around 7 minutes do you feel more connected to the person I randomly paired you up with?
You opened yourselves up.
You possibly open yourself up. Why else?
We each listen.
You listen.
The
What else?
questions that you gave us to ask. were
Yeah, the
specific.
questions were done. It took me years to design those questions exactly the way I designed them, and I've tested them literally all over the world. I didn't ask you what you do, because you always get that technical answer and it goes over your head. But I asked you, how you got into the profession, which tells you a little bit about their values and what do you enjoy most, more about their values. I don't think we ask enough value-based questions. And so the questions I had you ask was designed to find out the views and the values of the person that paired you up. And so hopefully today you learned a little bit about the person you got paired up. You learned a little bit more about how to maximize your membership by getting to know each other. I want to sum up and then maybe answer some questions for you, what we talked about. The first thing we talked about was the more you give, the more you get. I believe what goes around comes around. And it truly is that way here in the Chesterfield Chamber. I don't know about other organizations. I know I've gone to them and it's all about me, me, me. But here you'll see that we do pride ourselves on who can we help you to be interested. We can't promise you anything, but we'll do our best to make this. We talked about building relationships builds communities. And I wish we would do more of this in today's society, is that building the relationships builds our communities. And finally, get to know your fellow members, and they will want to get to know you. We talked about building relationships builds communities. And I wish we would do more of this in today's society, is that building the relationships builds our communities. And finally, get to know your fellow members, and they will want to get to know you.
Let's give Jim a big round.